It's the Miss Wolfie from our Half Acre Homestead, and today we're canning beans. It's Beans 2021! I picked beans today. I've prepared 9 pints, but I doubt I'll get that much because I want to save some for dinner. Now these are those climbing beans that came from Poland that I didn't know were climbing beans. And they're the oddest thing. They're so thin, but they're so juicy and crispy. Look. I'm sure I could let them grow and pull out a broad bean, but by God, I just love these. Now, I'm not buying beans from the farmer's market this year. I still have about 16 pints in the pantry from last year. But I am going to can and stock up while they're coming in this thick. Even if it's only like 6 pints in a day. But if I get one more picking like this, then my pantry is topped up for beans good for the year. The rest will be eaten fresh and dehydrated. So let's get started. We've got 9 washed, rinsed, and sanitized jars. Our lids, our rings are washed and sitting there. Our lids are washed and in hot water. There is our hot water that we add to the raw beans. And here's our canner. Let's get started. Remember, if you're 1,000 feet or more above sea level, please check your manufacturer's directions on your canner because your weights and your times may change. And here is our pickling salt. I use coarse pickling salt. I have used pink Himalayan salt in a pinch, but I prefer coarse pickling salt. Why? Because there's no additives and there's no color to it either. So now we need a Debubble Buddy and our clean damp paper towel. Because you always. So let's just start filling up the jars. Usually I cut them in smaller pieces so I can get more in the jar, but today I was just busy on the phone with my cousin, so I started snapping them. All right. Fill your jar to 1 inch from the top. Half a teaspoon of salt. Fill just a little above the lower ring. And then debubble. If you do not debubble, the whole point of pressure canning is that these are cooked under pressure. If you don't get all the air bubbles out, they will come to the surface under the pressure and push water out. So make sure you debubble beans very thoroughly. Always. Wipe your rims with a clean damp paper towel. Put on a lid and into the canner that goes. Remember folks, it's fingertip tight. And what fingertip tight means, as tight as you can get it with your fingertips. Not a muscle man and not a piece of machinery. This is what's left, and I could have got another pint, but I couldn't fit another pint in there. So in here we have 9 pints, and I'm going to make beans and rice for supper with my vegetable infused rice. So I will add that to this video. Alrighty, we have our recommended 2 to 3 liters of water in here with about 2 ounces of white vinegar to keep my jars from clouding. Now this is my first canning session of the year, and I know they look old and battered and dirty, but these have gotten a good scrub over, and I have soaked my gasket in hot water to make sure it hasn't dried out and shrunk from last year. So we're just going to put our lid on here, and we're going to lock this, and I'm going to turn it up. And when this starts to spout a steady stream of steam, we will set a timer. We will vent this for 10 minutes. Now it's really important that you get a steady stream of hissing steam and that you time it for 10 minutes. Not when it's puffing and going and back, a steady stream, okay? And then you vent that for 10 minutes. The reason we vent it for 10 minutes is because we're pushing the air out of the canner, and when the weight goes on, it creates a vacuum, which cooks the stuff in the canner and cans it at a much higher temperature than you can get with just boil bath canning. Okay, so in this pot I have 2¼ cups of water, and it's come to a boil. And I'm just going to drop, I've got a nice bowl of green beans from the garden and a small to medium onion, diced. I'm just going to drop them in there. Season them with a generous pinch of salt. And here is my homemade instant rice. And I'm going to do a 2 cups, a 1.75 to 2 cups. This is going to come back up to a boil, and then we're going to let it cook for about 3 minutes. So our beans and onions have been cooking for 4 minutes. I'm just going to dump my homemade vegetable infused minute rice. I'm going to put the lid on this, bring it back up to a boil, which it's already doing, and I'm going to shut that off. And our canner has been venting a steady stream for 10 minutes. So just like that. So now we're going to put this on. And as soon as that gives us a vigorous jiggle, we're going to start timing for 20 minutes. 20 minutes for pints, 25 minutes for quarts. Here comes our first vigorous jiggle. So now I'm going to turn this down to just between medium and maximum so that I get a gentle rocking motion. And now I've set my timer for 20 minutes. And we'll be back when that's done. Our timer has gone off, so we're just going to shut off, and we're going to let the canner cool naturally. You want it to be you don't want to open this while it is still hot and under pressure. You don't want to rapid cool it. You don't want to jiggle the weight. Nothing. You let it cool down until you can comfortably touch the sides of the canner with your bare hand. This is the Mrs. Wolfe from our half-acre homestead saying this week, it's all about the beans. Take care, God bless.